Hey, house guests. Welcome to today's Big Brother 23 updates and spoilers. Hope you're all having a great day so far. It has been a crazy day in the Big Brother house. Oh my goodness. All right, I got a lot to tell you guys today, but before we get to all that, but first, our house guests of the day are Tahir P and Janie B. Thank you both so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate it so much. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests today, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. It's only $1 for a holla. What a steal. Ugh, I feel like every time I do these and I don't get to put my moisturizer on my face first, my face just feels so like tight and dry. I hate it. But anyway, nobody needs to hear that. Okay. I also want to thank our super chatters today before we get going. Super chatters from yesterday. Adley Bruges, Janine Honberger, and Janet Tucker 68. Thank you all so much. Super chat is a wonderful way to support this channel and keep us doing what we're doing. And I see we already have a super chat from today. Jefferson Tucker, thank you so much. He says, Sarah Beth's mom just called. I asked her how she felt seeing Sarah Beth crying before Nam. She responded, I can't believe it. On my daughter's birthday. Disgusting. Yeah. What a wild day for Sarah Beth's birthday. Oh my God. And I know it is also one of our amazing viewers' birthdays today. Actually, two of our amazing viewers, Catherine B and Marky Mark. So happy birthday to both of you guys as well. Hope you're all having a great day. My goodness. Okay, I'm just like gathering myself here and fixing this chat before we get going. All right, so let's get started. When we left off yesterday, we've got Brittany and Sarah Beth up on the block, and they had the Power Veto competition, and the Power Veto had some prizes and some punishments. Always a great time. Always fun to have that extra drama added in there. So let's cut to the chase. Brittany won the ultimate prize. She won the Power of Veto. Yay! I'm very happy for her because I feel like, she's had a tough time so far this season. And it's really exciting for her that she was able to pull off this competition win and get herself off the block. So, yeah, Brittany won the Power of Veto. Alyssa, I believe, won a phone call. Derek X won. Well, I guess you could call it winning, but Derek X is going to be the Lord of the Latrine. I'm going to tell you guys more details on all the punishments as they come up, because some of them, we only have the name and we haven't seen them in action yet, but I definitely have details about Derek X's punishment in a bit. Kyland, his punishment is called Jackass Club, and apparently it's something about like making club sandwiches, I think. Claire, the Duke of the Deck, I want to say. I'm not 100% sure on hers, but it sounded like she was talking about like having to do 52 card pickup, maybe. I would love to see that guy come back in, Al the Alien. Maybe it's something with that. I don't know, but I hope we get to see him again this season. And then there's another prize here. Sarah Beth won $5,000, and she pissed off a lot of people in the process. Apparently, when it was Derek X's turn to choose if he was going to take a new thing or like take somebody else's thing or whatever, he wanted to take the $5,000 from Sarah Beth, but she started crying and like making him feel guilty, so he didn't end up taking it. And the Kings are all pissed off that she took a prize instead of going for the Power Veto when she's on the block. Wild. Yeah, so it was not a good look for Sarah Beth, and now the Kings are saying that they're ready to vote her out. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Derek X is still planning on backdooring Christian this week, even though this Power Veto situation isn't ideal for him. I mean, ideally, he would have wanted Sarah Beth to come down so that Christian would be going up against Brittany, and it would have been pretty clear cut that Christian would have been leaving. But when you've got Christian up against Sarah Beth, it might be a little tempting for some people to go for Sarah Beth instead of Christian, because, we've seen what Tiffany's been up to this week and last week. She is very anti-Sarah Beth, so you never know. But he is still planning on putting up Christian, and instead, he's been telling the Kings that he's putting up Big D. No, He's lying. But big question here is, will he have the votes to still get rid of Christian against Sarah Beth? We saw that Tiffany's been pushing hard for Sarah Beth to go, but she's also telling Derek X that she's going to vote out Christian. She's going to follow through for him. So we'll see. Honestly, I feel like she would really be screwing herself over if she did not follow through and vote out Christian, because then she would just be leaving Derek X out to dry, and I don't think she wants to be on his bad side. So it would be pretty effed up if she didn't go ahead and vote out Christian. But it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of this week plays out. Okay, so yesterday morning, Big D and Azah were chilling in, or sorry, not chilling. They were chatting. I guess they were chilling too. Chatting in the yacht club bedroom. And sounds like Alyssa was a real sore loser after that power veto competition, saying it wasn't fair because like her helmet didn't fit right or something. And she said that Brittany didn't win the power veto fair and square, all this stuff. But they agree. Alyssa's a big old crybaby. And Big D says he's ready to send that big crybaby home. Oh, but Azah says no. Christian's got to go home first before we get rid of Alyssa, because he's the one winning competitions. Alyssa is the strategist. She's the schemer. So if Christian goes, Alyssa's not going to have anyone to scheme with. She's going to be all alone. I mean, I think she's going to be super tight with Xavier still. And I think Xavier is definitely looking forward to that. But yeah, she's not going to have her number one buddy anymore. So Azah is like, ooh, I wonder what Derek X is going to do for the replacement nominee, because he hasn't really been totally forthcoming with the information with the Jokers. I mean, he's let Brittany in on the plan, but not Azah and Big D. So Big D is kind of worried that it's going to be one of the two of them going up as the replacement nominee. He says Derek is not going to put Christian up because he's not going to want to lose his shield. Also, Derek promised Alyssa and Xavier safety during the HOH competition, and it doesn't seem like he's going to go back on that. So Azah says, well, if he puts us up, that's just going to give us a reason to go after him or use him as a pawn next week. Because remember, they know they have the Cookout Alliance behind them, so they're not super worried about like having the votes to stay. But it's going to give them a reason to go after Derek X if they were to go up. All right. So Big D says his plan here is to sit back and relax and let God handle it. He's going to trust that Derek X is going to make the right move. He's going to trust that Brittany and Azah will talk to Derek X. I mean, you could try talking to him too. You don't have to just hang out on the big blue couch all day, fall asleep in random spots. But anyway, these two chat again later. And they're really feeling like a king should be going up as the replacement nominee, not one of them. Like, if you want to guarantee that a king is going to go, you should just put two kings up on the block, right? Why are you going to use jokers as pawns all the time? So they also have some issues with the cookout right now. They feel like Hannah and Tiffany are trying to take out Sarah Beth for their own gain. They say this is not the best move for the cookout. Why is Tiffany going so hard after Sarah Beth, right? So Alyssa, they feel that Alyssa and Christian are targeting more members of the cookout than Sarah Beth is. So Big D says when the cookout gets to the final 6, I'm putting up Hannah and Tiffany and sending Tiffany out. He says, first chance I get after the final 6. Ooh, and Oz's like, I love Tiffany, but... And she never ended up finishing that statement, which is never a good thing. But she says she doesn't like how Tiffany treats people like they're expendable. And I mean, we've seen Tiffany and Azah clash so many times. We've also seen so many great times between those two. They're like sisters. But there are definitely some issues there. All right. So then Kyland and Xavier were chatting in the bathroom. And at this point, Xavier is still pretty much in the dark about Derek X's true plan this week to backdoor Christian. So Xavier's like under the impression that it's going to be Big D probably going up as the replacement. So Xavier says, yeah, Derek has been telling me that he's going to put up Big D. And Kyland's like, from the conversations I've been having, it sounds like it's not going to be anybody from the cookout. So Xavier's like, well, how does that benefit Derek X though? Because I mean, he's figuring out, oh, like maybe it's going to be Christian. So Xavier says, for us, that's cool, like taking out the biggest competitor. But for Derek X, like that's his shield. It just doesn't make sense. I gotta say, shields are not useful when they are targeting you. That's not a shield anymore. A shield has to be somebody that's not coming after you. And Christian is definitely targeting Derek X at this point. So I would not be considering Christian a shield to Derek X anymore. But Kylan says Derek X feels like this is the optimal time to take the shot. You know, we don't know if he's going to have this chance again. So Xavier says, well, if the shot doesn't hit, Christian will be targeting Derek X. He is anyway. He is anyway, no matter what. So Kylan says, hey, that's still not the cookout in danger, right? Somebody outside of the cookout would be in trouble. And Xavier's like, okay, well, I'm just telling you, I'm not going to be able to protect Derek X if he makes this move because the Kings are going to be pissed and the Kings are going to be expecting me to target Derek X if I win the next HOH. I think like Xavier just really doesn't want to lose Christian for himself because Christian is a shield for Xavier for sure, big time. He's working with a showmance. So yeah, anyway, in other news, Derek X starts his Lord of the Latrine punishment, and it's only 24 hours long. It's a lot of fun though. He's got this amazing medieval times costume to wear. He's got to carry around this long horn. And anytime somebody needs to use the bathroom, he has to unlock it for them. And when they go in, well, okay, before they go in, he asks, like, are you doing a 1 or a 2? And then once they go in, he has to blow on his horn, blow on the horn, and then announce who's going in. So he'll be like, Lady Alyssa is using the porcelain throne. It is number 1. He has to announce who it is, and then he can kind of like freestyle after that. So it's a lot of fun. Everybody was having fun trying out the horn themselves. Brittany was the best at it for sure, because her brother played the trumpet and taught her how to play. So yeah, I feel like this is one of those punishments that is really annoying also for the rest of the house because like Derek X has to call attention to them using the bathroom all the time. Ugh, that make me so uncomfortable. But yeah, afterwards, Big Brother like says something every once in a while like, thank you for fulfilling your duty. Okay, so anyway, it's a fun punishment to watch. It's fun for us. Okay, so a little later, Brittany is chatting with Derek X in the bathroom in his domain. And Brittany is telling him how Sarah Beth and Kylan both wanted her to throw the power veto competition to them. That's insane that they would think that she'd actually throw the competition when she is on the block herself. It's wild. So Brittany is like, hell nah, I'm not throwing crap for you. That's right. And Brittany was also talking about what a poor sport Alyssa was after the power veto competition. And I mean, we already knew that Brittany wants Alyssa to go because she has like this final 2 deal with Christian and Alyssa's in the way of that. She's also admitted that she has a crush on Christian. So Brittany is telling Derek X she wants this week to go smoothly for him. She feels like she's in on this plan to help backdoor Christian or backdoor somebody. So she says, okay, Christian is a huge physical threat. That cannot be denied. But she says a lot of people like Christian as a person. And Sarah Beth has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. So if Christian goes up on the block against Sarah Beth, she says, I'm not sure how those votes are going to fall. Like, I don't know who's going to be going. So Derek X asks, all right, ideally, in your ideal situation, who would you want to leave from the Kings? And unfortunately, the feeds flipped away briefly, so we didn't get to hear her answer. But again, we know that Brittany has a final 2 deal with Christian. We know that earlier in the week, she was trying to convince Derek X to target Alyssa. So I don't think it would be that big of a stretch to say that she was trying to protect Christian here a little bit. But when the feeds come back, Derek X is asking, would I have your vote to get out Christian if I put him up on the block? And Brittany says, if that's what you want to do, like, I'll do it. So Derek X says Christian is just such a huge threat in competitions. We can beat Alyssa and Sarah Beth. So he says, I'm not worried about Sarah Beth. She is becoming a house target. A lot of people are saying they want to get her out. So we don't need to be doing that right now. Somebody else will take care of that. Somebody else can take a shot at her next week. So Brittany's like, yeah, I get what you're saying. But also, she brings up another point here. Out of the three, Alyssa, Sarah Beth, and Christian knows the least about the game. He is the least game savvy. And she says, I think if you made a deal with him, he would be the type of person to keep it. So she brings up when Christian was the HOH, he promised to keep her off the block because he wanted to give her a break since she had been on the block 2 weeks in a row. And she said he followed through with that. So he's trustworthy. And then Derek X is like, all right, I got to bring out the big guns here. So Derek X says, I'm going to tell you something right now, but you need to promise me you're going to keep it a secret. So Derek X says, Christian and Alyssa were telling me if they won the HOH this week, they were going to target the Jokers and they were going to nominate 2 of you guys. And Derek X also shares how he talked to the Kings after the nominations and he lied to them and said that Brittany is the target this week. And that really calmed them down. That is true. That did happen. And Derek X also says Christian was on board with you being the target this week. Ugh. It was a real stab. Yeah, she did need to hear that. So Brittany says, all right, I'm down to take out Christian now. Let's do it. Let's make this move. She says it's crazy how people can be two-faced in this house. Yeah, right? So they feel like they should be able to get the votes to take Christian out. Yeah, I think as long as Tiffany follows through with it, Tiffany and her crew, it should be all good to go. But a little later, Brittany talks to the former Jokers, Big D and Azza, and they're all in agreement. Yeah, they're going to vote out Christian if Derek X puts him up on the block. Ooh, okay. So then Hannah and Derek X touch base in the HOH room, and Derek X says, all right, I've looped Brittany in on the plan. She is locked in. She is going to vote out Christian. Like, let's do this. And Hannah confirms that she, Tiffany, and Claire have also discussed it, and they have agreed they're going to vote however Derek X wants this week. She says this vote is going to be sick because it's going to cause a fracture in the Kings. Not only are they going to be losing a member this week, but they have to choose between 2 of their former teammates. So that's going to cause some tension within their group, and it's going to be great for the rest of them. Oh, my grandma's calling. Ah! Okay. This always distracts me. Okay. So Hannah says, I think also me, Tiffany, and Kyland are going to be able to convince Xavier not to target you, as retaliation for taking out one of the Kings. So Hannah's asking, what is your plan to do damage control with Alyssa and Xavier? And Derek X says, I think I can talk about it logically with Alyssa because she's asked me a few times now if I would be targeting, if I was going to backdoor Christian. So obviously it's on her radar. Like, she knows this is a possibility. Maybe that means that she's been considering going after me, so he thinks that she will get it. She respects the game. I think she's gonna be really pissed at you. Like, she might respect it later, but she's gonna be pissed. So Hannah thinks that Derek X should do some proactive damage control with Alyssa. She's like, why don't you tell her what you're gonna do before the power veto ceremony, even if it's only 5 minutes before. Just give her a heads up. Tell her that this was not always your plan. And just say, Brittany won the power veto and you had to come up with a replacement and you want to take advantage of this opportunity. Then, she won't feel like you've been lying to her all week. which he has, and she won't feel as blindsided. And Derek X says, that's a great point. Maybe I will do that. Maybe I can even tell her that me and you, the two of us, we still want to work with Alyssa and Xavier after Christian is gone. I don't know how open she's going to be to that. But anyway, they also talk about next week, and Hannah is trying to decide at this point if it would be better for her to target Sarah Beth or Alyssa. And Hannah's like, I think Sarah Beth, because she has had my name in her mouth. There is the possibility that maybe Kylan can sway her not to target me, but I don't know. And Derek X brings up how Sarah Beth has mentioned wanting to work with them as a 4 with Kylan. We'll see about that. We'll see. Anyway, moving on. Tiffany continues to do the most. Tiffany was talking to Kylan in the coral bedroom, and Tiffany asks, how do you know her? So Kylan's like, who? And Tiffany says, Sarah Beth. So Kylan's like, I don't know her outside of the house. I promise you, more than anything in the world, I do not know Sarah Beth. And he says, I knew coming in here that I didn't want to end up in a showmance. So I latched on very quickly to someone who I knew was in a relationship, who would still be cool with like cuddling and stuff. So that would be it. That's all it is. And he says, we just get along really well. And Kylan is promising again, he did not know Sarah Beth before the game. So Tiffany's like, okay, I believe you. Does she though? I don't know about that. Because she still had a lot to say last night about how Sarah Beth's girlfriend isn't real and Sarah Beth is single because she bought a single pass from Disneyland. Isn't it like either a family pass or a single pass? So it doesn't mean like I'm a single person, I'm getting a single pass, right? I don't know. I don't know how Disneyland works, but I feel like she is making a lot out of nothing. And I believe Sarah Beth has many pictures of her with her girlfriend Shelly at Disneyland online. But anyway, Tiffany says, that she believes him. So a little later, Tiffany and Claire were chatting in the coral bedroom, and they agree, I guess, we're cool with taking out Christian this week. It's not their first choice. It's not maybe the best for their own personal games, but they're cool with it. If Derek X is going to, in fact, put him up on the block, they feel like they have a better chance of beating Sarah Beth in a competition anyway. So maybe this is okay. So Tiffany is saying she would like to see Hannah win HOH next week and take out Sarah Beth. Okay. So then later, Tiffany was talking to the cameras in the coral bedroom, and she's telling us about this conversation that she was just having with Christian and Alyssa. And Christian and Alyssa were like laying out future plans, what they want to do if there's a double eviction, yada, yada, yada. But it's not going to matter because Christian is probably leaving this week. So Tiffany says, we're backdooring Christian this week, and he has no idea right now. But she says, I did talk to Xavier about it. He understands the plan now. She says, in order for the cookout to get to the final 6 and for it to be fair, we all have our one person outside of the alliance, right? We went over this plan a few weeks ago. And Tiffany says at this point, Xavier has 2 people outside of the alliance, Alyssa and Christian. So she says, Christian's got to go. We got to make this more fair. So she also talks about how Christian and Alyssa have this whole elaborate plan about who they're going to eliminate from the game, in what order, whatever. And she says, this does not align with my plan. So that's not going to work for her. And she also brings up how Alyssa wanted to tell Hannah right before the vote on Thursday that they're going to be voting out Sarah Beth, assuming that Sarah Beth would be up on the block against Big D. And Tiffany's like, it's really interesting because Hannah told me that she wanted to warn Alyssa before the Power Veto ceremony that Christian would be going up on the block. So how funny that they both wanted to warn each other of these things. And they both told me about their plans. So Tiffany says Alyssa has really moved up on her target list. Like she might even want to get Alyssa out before Sarah Beth because Alyssa was saying she would put up Kylan and Derek X on the block, and That's not going to work for Tiffany. She says if Derek X came down and Alyssa put up another member of the cookout, then 2 of them would be up on the block, and it's just not good. So she says no. Alyssa's got to go next week. Okay, so then the house kids took a little break from the game at midnight to celebrate Sarah Beth's birthday. Happy birthday, Sarah Beth. Dang, that is so many in one season. I can't remember having this many house guest birthdays in one season. It's wild. But Kylan and Xavier carried Sarah Beth into the kitchen, and Derek X blew on his horn to announce her arrival. That's fun. Yeah, I feel like today's follow-up birthday celebration is going to be super awkward. Maybe even like a Keisha's birthday situation. I don't know. It's going to be wild. But a little later, Derek X and Xavier touched base, and this whole conversation was orchestrated by Tiffany. She encouraged Derek X and Xavier to talk to each other because she wants to try and do some damage control. She doesn't want this whole backdoor Christian plan to go down without Derek X telling Xavier about it, because she doesn't want Xavier to feel like he can't trust Derek X for not talking to him about it first. So she encouraged them to talk, and they're talking about the renom options, Christian or Big D. That's really who it comes down to. And Derek says he feels that taking out Big D would kind of be a waste of his HOH. And he says, this is my chance to make a big move and take out Christian. And he feels like he might not get this opportunity again. So he's got to go for it. So Xavier does put up a little resistance here. He's telling Derek X, like, does this make sense for you? Like, to take out your shield? But again, not really a shield if he's coming after you. So in the end, Xavier did tell Derek X, do what's best for your game. And he said he's going to try and do some damage control for DX with the remaining kings. All right. So then, that was all last night. This morning, let me just get a little drink first because I'm feeling a little parched and there's a lot. Okay. Ready to go. So today, this morning, Derek X did let Alyssa know that he was considering putting Christian up on the block as the replacement nominee. Unfortunately, the feeds were down when he actually told her. So we missed that part of the conversation, but we did see after that. So Derek X and Alyssa were talking in the gym, and I just want to remind you guys, DX is still the Lord of the Latrine. He is still wearing the costume. How ridiculous. But I also want to mention, this conversation was not, this is, what am I drinking? This is actually an electrolyte drink. Got to replenish, after my bike ride today. But anyway, this conversation was not like yelly or anything like that. It may have gotten a little heated at times, but not really. And it was mostly whispering. So, yeah, Derek X and Alyssa talking in the gym. And Alyssa's telling him, it's your game. Do what you want to do. But from where you started, like week 1 being a total disaster, you gained a lot of trust since then. And she says, I'd hate for you to break it again too early, and then you're out the next week. So DX is asking Alyssa, have you mentioned my name? This is something he was asking everybody during his one-on-one chats before the nominations. So he's asking, like, have you mentioned my name? And Alyssa says, only week 1, when everyone was mentioning your name. That's a lie, and Derek knows it. He knows, he's well aware that Christian and Alyssa are now saying they will be targeting Derek X next week. So, yeah, he knows that she's lying. So Alyssa says, there's no point in doing this right now, and I think that Hannah would agree with that. Would she though? She says, Frenchie, his big mistake was going against the Alliance. That's how he messed up his game. Can't we just pinpoint it to one thing? And she says, if you do this, you're going to be doing the exact same thing. You're going against the Alliance. And right now it's all about the numbers. So Alyssa's telling DX, we can move forward from this. If you just don't do this, we can start fresh next week. We can put up 2 jokers. It's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. So she's really trying to convince Derek X, don't do this. So then Xavier comes in. Alyssa leaves for a few minutes. And DX says, oof, Alyssa has lied to my face now multiple times. And Xavier says, well, I haven't heard that Christian's targeting you. That is a lie, and Xavier knows it. So then Alyssa comes back in after a few minutes, and she's telling Derek again, like, this does not make sense for your game. You might not even have people backing you up on this. Like, you might not even have the votes for Christian to go. She says this is not going to be a good look for you, especially if Christian goes up on the block and then he stays. So she's like, why are you doing other people's dirty work? She acknowledges, like, yeah, some other people would want to make this move. So, like, it sounds like he would have the support to do it. But she's asking Derek X, why are you doing other people's dirty work? So then Sarah Beth comes in, and Derek X says, I'm considering putting Christian up on the block next to you. And Sarah Beth has known that this was the plan since the beginning of the week. But she is pretending like this is the first time she's hearing this. And Sarah Beth says, you have to do what's best for your game. So Alyssa says, I know this sounds crazy, but Sarah Beth is much safer next to Big D than she is next to Christian. So then Christian comes in, and it is awkward because nobody like acknowledges him or says anything to him for a bit. And then Alyssa eventually says that Derek X is considering other options for the replacement nominee. So Christian is like, well, Sarah Beth will be safe against any Joker. They're talking about you. They're talking about you going up as the replacement nominee. So then Derek X asks to talk to Sarah Beth alone. And Sarah Beth is telling him, you got to take the shot at Christian. You got to do it because Alyssa and Christian, they have already told me that they're coming after you, whether you put Christian up as a replacement or not. They are coming after you. So you got to follow through and do this. So Derek X also gives Sarah Beth some information. He lets her know, the Kings were planning on voting you out if you were up on the block against Big D. So Derek X is telling her, I'm not changing my plan. I am putting Christian up on the block, and you're going to be safe against him, so you don't have to worry. So then Tiffany stops in at one point. She's telling him, go for it. You got to do it. It's too late to turn back now. You got to do it. I got to agree. It is too late to turn back now, especially now that Derek X has shared that he's thinking about doing this. He's got to do it. So then there was some more scrambling from Alyssa, and Sarah Beth was not going to be leaving Derek X alone from this point on. So she was in there with Derek X and Alyssa, and it got a little bit tense at one point because Sarah Beth was saying to Alyssa, I don't know if I would have the votes to stay against Big D. And she says to Alyssa, I don't even know if I would have your vote against Big D, because she just got this information from Derek X. And Alyssa's like, I was going to use the power of veto on you. I was fighting for you. I wasn't going for prizes, blah, blah, blah. Yikes. Okay. So then, she's also saying, Alyssa's saying, Christian could have put you up last week. He had the HOH and the power veto. He could have done it, and he didn't. But it doesn't matter. Derek X is not budging on this. It's just like when he had the power veto and Frenchie was trying to tell him what to do with it, and he stayed true to what he wanted to do, and he used it on Kyland. So, no, Sarah Beth was not the one that said she wasn't going for prizes. Alyssa said that. Okay, so, it's past the point of no return. He's got to do this. So the feeds go down for the power veto ceremony. Brittany uses the POV on herself, and Derek X nominated Christian. Oh my God, he did it. So Christian versus Sarah Beth up on the block. Oh my God. Okay, so after the ceremony, Christian and Alyssa talking in the bathroom, and Alyssa says, I tried. I gotta say, they weren't like yelling or anything here. It was just like, I think Christian's just shooketh at this point. He's like, holy crap. So Alyssa says she tried. She tried to keep him off the block, but she thinks that Sarah Beth threw them under the bus. She thinks that Sarah Beth was telling them, Christian's coming after you, which, I mean, he is. And she also feels that Sarah Beth spilled to Kyland. Kyland spilled to DX. So she's definitely trying to place the blame on Sarah Beth and Kyland. And Christian's like, am I just effed? Like, am I definitely leaving? And Alyssa says, no, I don't think so. She feels like it's going to be a 50-50 chance. She does say when Tiffany came in before to talk to Derek X, she wasn't really trying to keep you off the block. So sounds like Tiffany might not be on board to keep you. Yeah, she says it's going to be a 50-50 chance. And at one point, Big D came in and told Christian that he'll have his vote to stay. No. But Christian is just really pissed at himself at this point for not taking Derek X out last week when he had the chance. He's like, I can't believe I could have taken him out and I didn't do it. Like, I'm so stupid. Yeah, so there's lots more fallout to come. We're going to pick it up there tomorrow. We've got 3 days left until the eviction. It should be freaking wild because I feel like Christian is not going to go out quietly, nor should he. I mean, he definitely has a chance to flip this vote being up on the block against Sarah Beth. I mean, at this point, it's not looking good for him, but we've got 3 days left until the eviction. Hello. So you never know what could happen. But anyway, it's going to be wild. It's an exciting week. We've been waiting for something like this, right? Yeah. Hi, baby boy! Okay, so, hello! I want to thank all of our super chatters. You guys are awesome. Jefferson Tucker, thank you so much. Dawn MH 302, thank you so much. Jason M, thank you so much. Derek Johnson, thank you so much. And Derek says, come to Long Island one day for brunch and BB talk. I was actually just in Long Island like 2 weeks ago for a wedding. It was fun. Thank you so much for the super chat. Jamie Martin, thank you for the super chat. Bree Alexander, thank you so much. And Bree says, Christian has to go. D flop, is that Big D? Yeah. Is dead weight and can be used until Final Four. Then get him out on an easy double eviction night. Yeah, I could see. I feel like Big D is going to be around for the long haul, unless Claire gets her way. Because who's going to spend time trying to get him out when you got all these other huge targets around, right? So I could definitely see him making it deep into this game.
He's going to be floating on that blue couch.
He's going to be riding that blue couch to the end. And we also have here John. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says, Tiff doesn't seem to be able to make moves, then fall back into shadows. She crosses the line from an active player to a messy one. She definitely has some really messy tendencies. I've been seeing people comparing her to Vanessa from BB17, which I totally agree with. She's so smart, so game savvy, but she just can't turn it off, and she just goes too far sometimes. She just does too much. She overplays. But
she outs her alliance to Hannah.
She what?
She outs her alliance to Hannah.
Yeah, she did that.
That's pretty sloppy.
That was sloppy, yeah. So, Lulu, come in. Come in. Oh. Can you guys see her? Come in, Louie. Oh. She's like, I don't know if I want to. This is messy. But thank you so much. And Alex Paredes, thank you so much for the super chat. I know this season, we're eating good in the neighborhood this season, for sure. Good stuff. We deserve this after so many years of crap seasons. Like we deserve this. We earn this. But anyway, I want to thank you all so much for being here today. It's a wild ride.
Okay, you're holding the cookbook.
Oh yeah, if you guys are interested in getting a copy of your own of our vegan cookbook, the plant-based air fryer cookbook, check it out. We've got a link below. And if you already have your own copy and you want to continue to support us, if you could leave a review on our Amazon page, that would help us out so much for realsies.
I love your Wonder Woman copy.
It's the Invisible Cookbook.
Yeah.
So thank you again all so much for watching. It's going to be a wild night of feeds, I think. I think the rest of the week is going to be crazy. I really hope we get some Keisha's birthday vibes.
I hope
please.
So.
But anyway.
Iconic.
Yeah. I'll be back tomorrow for another spoiler with more of the fallout. So until then, thank you all so much for watching. And I'll see you then. Much love. Awkward ending. Woo! We love it.